Okay, so let's just jump right in because the entire AI landscape just got completely shaken up. For a long time, it really felt like Google was on the ropes, right? Kind of sleeping through the revolution it helped create. But now, a couple of recent announcements might have changed everything. So the big question we're digging into here is, did Google just pull off the impossible and actually win the AI war? And I mean, you really can't overstate how much the story was against them. Here's a company that was the undisputed king of AI research for years, and then the public launch of their first big product was, well, to put it nicely, a complete catastrophe. All the experts were basically writing them off, saying they were just too big, too slow to compete anymore. And wow, this number, it just says it all. This was the market's instant, brutal reaction. Right after that disastrous live demo for their chatbot Bard, back in February 2023, the one where it literally made stuff up on stage, Google's stock took a 9% nosedive. It was a very public and very, very expensive failure. Which brings us to today. Going from the punchline of the AI race to maybe leading it? How on earth did that happen? That's the story we're unpacking. The source material calls this a Mongolian reversal, which is a term from chess. It describes this incredibly rare, dramatic turnaround where you flip a totally lost position into a winning one. And honesty, it's the perfect way to describe what Google just did. This chart basically tells the whole story in two bars. On the left, you've got that negative 9% stock hit from the Bard launch, a huge vote of no confidence. And on the right, the reaction to the Gemini 3 release, a 6% jump that sent the stock to an all-time high. It just perfectly shows the complete 180 from total market panic to massive confidence in just over 2 years. All right, so let's break down exactly how this incredible reversal happened. We're going to look at the key moments that took Google from what felt like rock bottom to what might just be a checkmate move in this whole AI war. And this timeline lays it out perfectly. It all starts with the Bard disaster in February 2023. Then you have this quiet but absolutely critical move in mid-2025. The founders of a company called Windsurf joined Google in a massive deal. And then bam, the payoff, November 2025. Google drops a 1-2 punch with Gemini 3 and this mysterious project called anti-gravity. So let's start with that first big announcement, the one that really fired the starting gun on this comeback. See, Google didn't just release another new model. They basically unleashed a monster that immediately started rewriting all the leaderboards. Let's talk about Gemini 3. I mean, the dominance was just immediate and total. It wasn't just a small win. Gemini 3 swept the major LLM leaderboards, but it also crushed these unconventional tests like WeirdML, which tests creative thinking by asking the AI to do things like identify Pokemon silhouettes from memory. How wild is that? It even took the top spot on something called Humanity's Last Exam, a benchmark that's notoriously hard and designed to push AI to its absolute limits. It was a clean sweep. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. New models pop up all the time, and they might be the best at one or two things. But for a single model to just show up and dominate across such a huge, diverse range of tests all at once, that's really, really rare. And it's a huge signal that something big has changed. Now, if you think benchmarks are just numbers, here's the real-world proof. AMP, a company that makes a really popular AI coding tool, immediately switched its core model from Claude, one of the top competitors, over to Gemini 3 Pro. And their reason was simple. It just did everything better. That's not a benchmark win. That's a massive industry vote of confidence. But here's the thing. Gemini 3, as absolutely dominant as it was really only half the story. The second announcement was, you could argue, even bigger. It points to this fundamental shift in how we're all going to work with computers. It's the reason for this section's title, Manager of Agents, and it's all about a brand new tech from Google called anti-gravity. No, it's not a flying car, though that would be pretty cool. Anti-gravity is a new tool for software developers. It's a modified version of VS Code, which is one of the most popular code editors on the planet. But this version is built specifically for something they're calling agentic coding. The whole idea is, instead of you writing all the code, you direct and manage a team of AI agents that do all the heavy lifting for you. And this is where that timeline from before just clicks right into place. Remember the Windsurf founders who joined Google? Well, this is what they've been building. That huge $2.4 billion deal wasn't just to hire some talent. It was to buy the core technology and the vision for this whole new way of coding. This was the official tagline from their announcement video. And it's a choice. It's kind of exciting, but also, let's be honest, a little bit ominous, right? It perfectly captures this new world. Your job isn't to be the coder anymore, it's to manage the coders, who just happen to be AI. But an idea this revolutionary doesn't just show up in a vacuum. Anti-gravity landed right in the middle of a market that was already getting, well, pretty weird. You could almost call it an absurdity contest for the future of coding, and there are some truly wild players out there. So on one side, you have Google's serious, multi-billion-dollar project, Anti-Gravity. And on the other side, you have Chad. Backed by the famous Y Combinator, Chad is literally calling itself the brain rot IDE. You know, brain rot is that internet slang for doom-scrolling junk content that just destroys your focus. Well, Chad is leaning right into that chaos. And this quote just sums up their whole vibe perfectly. Chad isn't about helping you focus, it's about embracing distraction. It actually integrates things like TikTok, gambling, and even Tinder right into your coding tool, so you can literally swipe on people while your AI agents write the code. It's a surreal vision of the future, that's for sure. But the competition isn't just external. Oh no. In classic Google fashion, their own product lineup is a bit of a mess. You've got the brand new Anti-Gravity, but there was also another tool called IDX, which is now dead and has been rebranded as something called Firebase Studio. Oh, and there's also another AI agent named Jules. It's kind of confusing. Turtles all the way down, as they say. So what does this all boil down to? With Google's incredibly powerful new model and these new agentic platforms like Anti-Gravity leading the way, the job of a developer is changing at lightning speed. And it leaves us with this really provocative question from the source material. As these agents get better and better at doing our jobs for us, are we just becoming their managers? Or are we just becoming the meatbag energy source for the machines? Definitely something to think about.